welcome to another trip report. This time from Lille Flandres in the northwest of France. It's a terminal station. It's a really beautiful station actually. I also featured this railway station in the video. I already did this in the past, by the way. Anyway, in this video I'll be taking the TGV from Lille to Paris. It's a high-speed train. It's a long distance, but well, because this is and a high-speed train and medium or long distance, this also means that the travel time is not that long. In the video I'll show you this railway station in Lille Flandres, show you the train and show you some views from the train. I mixed some things about when I took this train. I took it 2 times earlier this year. Right now, at the moment of recording the introduction, it's September 2020 to 2022. Time's flying. Anyway, I think I talk way too much. Let's get this video on track and let's roll the intro. Lille is the 10th biggest city in France, and the urban area of Lille is the 4th largest urban area in France. By the way, I did not shot this all in one single go. This video will be a combination of several shots I made over the last year. I traveled several times on this specific route, that's the TGV between Lille and Paris. The city center is not that far away from this railway station, and within the city of Lille you will find 2 main railway stations. Lille Flandres, that's the one I'll be featuring in this video, and this is a terminal station. From here on you will find both local trains and high-speed trains. And there's another railway station not that far away from here, that's called Lille Europe. From Lille Europe you will only find high-speed trains, and this is also serving the Eurostar. It is on the Paris to London high-speed line. These 2 railway stations are only being separated by a big shopping mall. The railway station of Lille Europe will be featured in another video, and if it's not there yet, just stay tuned. Because this is a terminal station, the layout of the railway station is pretty straightforward. Most facilities are located at the end of the tracks. And this railway station had some extensions. For example, the local trains that will go to Belgium. By the way, in Belgium these are marked as intercity. I featured them in other trip reports back in 2020 as well. Do depart from the parts that have been extended. But what I like most is the old part of this railway station. Most trains that will depart and arrive here are local trains. However, I'm making a video on a TGV inOui train, and that's a high-speed long-distance train. I'll get back to that a little bit later on in the video. Around the central hall at the old part of the railway station there are lots of shops and points where you can buy tickets and go to for information. It seemed like there were different counters for local public transport and long-distance public transport. Of course, this is France. This also means you will find lots of vending machines where you can buy snacks and drinks. And all over the railway station there are several vending machines for train tickets as well. However, if you're traveling on a long-distance train in France, it's in general better to buy your tickets more in advance, because this might save you some money. As you maybe just noticed, there are some access gates as well, and this is only for the high-speed trains. And once again, I'll get back to that a little bit later on in the video. There are plenty of spots where you can just have a sit and wait, and at lots of these spots you can also charge your mobile device. There's even a piano over here. At the front there's a first class lounge, and right under this railway station you will find access to the metro and the tramway. I think the tramway of Lille is partially underground as well. I didn't went in here though, but I know this metro is fully automatic. You won't only find access to this underground station from the railway station, but also from several spots around this railway station. And if you move this way and you go straight on, right along the shopping mall, you get out at the railway station Lille Europe. Apart from the tramway and the metro that are located underground, at the front there are several bus stops as well. And something I noticed and what I really like is a bike sharing program. There are some spots where you can park bikes, but this is not really impressive, but maybe this is just me being a Dutch guy. Anyway, time to head back into the railway station building again. You don't always need to move fully to the front of the railway station if you need to change between the different tracks. A bit more at the back, you will also find this overground passage, and from this point you have a great view on the old railway station building. By the way, directions are given in general very good within this railway station. In France, you will always find information in 3 languages. The main language is of course French, the second one is English, and the third one is depending in what area of France you're in. Because this is very close to a Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, the third language within this railway station is obviously Dutch. Information about departing trains is given very well. You find lots of screens throughout the railway station, and you also find some screens with information about arriving trains. The trains with information about departing trains are blue, and with information about arriving trains are green. There are lots of spots also within this main hall where you can just have a sit and charge your phone. And as you can see, the 1042, that's one of the trains I took because once again I did not record this all in one single go and I just combined several trips within one video. Free Wi-Fi is available at several spots within this railway station, what's really nice and convenient. Anyway, this here is my train coming in. It's a TGV inOui Duplex. The inOui is the regular product of the high-speed trains in France. You also find the WeGo trains, these are the budget trains, but I'm personally not in favor of the WeGo trains at all. Not because they are budget, but mainly because the low budget trains make it really difficult to travel through France as a foreigner. For example, on the low budget trains, you just can't travel if you're using an Interrail pass. So, therefore, we'll be traveling with a proper train today. Apart from that, you don't have any other choices on this specific route. These trains do have a capacity of 508 passengers per train set. So, if you have 2, the capacity is huge. There is one platform hosting 2 tracks where you will find the high-speed trains. And well, obviously it can be a little bit packed over here. Especially if trains do arrive here and well, pretty soon after that another train will depart. And once again, the WeGo project that has a higher capacity, well, this makes it even more packed. You find access gates and at the moment you go through the access gates, a screen will remind you on the coach number and the seat number you have. For all TGV inOui trains, the rule is that all tickets do include a seat reservation. There is a composition screen at the platform that will be displayed as well, and this is what you can see over here. It will refer to some letters you can see below the composition, and these letters will refer to other letters you can find at the platform. For one trip I did, I had a physical ticket because I was actually traveling with a fast local express train from a place not that far away from here that has been cancelled, and they solved it really well by giving me a ticket for this TGV inOui train. Anyway, let's go to another time when I took these trains because, like I mentioned, I traveled pretty often along this route over the last couple of months. And let's go back on a time when I traveled from Paris to Lille. And let's take a closer look at the exterior of this train before we take a look at the interior. This place at the side of the train will host the carriage number, the final destination, the train number and some stops along the way. Apart from that, the numbers 1 and 2 do indicate where you will find the first and the second class. There are no facilities mentioned with icons at the side because tickets do always come including a seat reservation anyway. There is also a bar available within these trains. However, at the moment I traveled with these trains, the bar was closed. The travel time between Paris and Lille is only 1 hour, so this might be long distance trains. However, it's not a true long distance. This might have to do that I traveled at the pandemic times, but I also heard some other stories that even without the pandemic on this route, the bars are pretty often closed. Personally, I really like dining cars, but on a short distance like this, I can understand that they are not open. Pretty often I notice that you will find combined trains on this route. So you need to pay extra attention at the moment you're entering the train if you're at the right train set. At the moment it's not busy, it's not a big deal if you enter the wrong train set. However, it might be a pity if you have to stand, for example. Before you enter the train, right below the entrance doors, actually within the train, you can see what seat numbers are located where. It's really hard to miss this. It's not possible to walk through these trains via the lower deck, so if you walk from one carriage to another carriage, you always have to do this via the upper decks. This is a long distance train, so there is enough space for luggage. It's not an awful lot, but between the back ends of the seats you can store some luggage. Apart from that, there are luggage racks within these compartments as well, but because this is a double-deck train, the overhead luggage racks are really tiny and actually quite disappointing, both at the upper and the lower deck. You can see what carriage numbers you're in and what way you have to walk to go to other carriage numbers. This has been marked very clear, and also the extra luggage racks have been mentioned very clear between the back ends of the seats. There's a mix of both airline style seats and seats that do face each other. Some seats that do face each other have these folding tables between the seats, and at some other situations you find bigger tables. There are some spare seats between the open compartments as well, and these spare seats even do have reading lights and power plugs. The seats that do face each other with a bigger table in between do have a table you can fold out to make it slightly bigger. Overall, I think this is quite a comfortable second class product, and even though I'm very tall, so it might all look a little bit tighter than it really is. The airline style seats do have a big and sturdy fold out table in the seat in front. There's a magazine rack, and something I don't need with my length is a foot rest. A small litter bin and a power plug is something you can find at the side. All windows do have a sunscreens, and coat hangers can be found at the sides as well, right next to the window. And for now, let's take a closer look at the first class. Between the first and the second class you will find the dining car, but like I mentioned, it was closed at the moment I traveled along this route. Dining cars in French high-speed trains are nice, but they're not really impressive though. The first class comes, like in most European trains, in a 2x1 configuration. First class won't give you extra service like meals or drinks like you find in some countries, but the seats are more comfortable and you just have more space. And if you want to go wild on charging phones or laptops, you find more power plugs here as well. Just like in the second class, there's a mix of both airline style seats and seats facing each other, and if you want to recline these seats, it's fully electric. I haven't shown you how you can recline the seats in second class, but believe me, you can recline those seats as well. For the seats that do come in an airline composition, you have slightly more leg room, the tray table that's about the same size as in the second class, and once again, also here you have more power plugs. Just like in the second class, within these compartments, but also at the end of these compartments, there are special luggage racks because once again, these are long distance trains after all. Some of these luggage racks can be quite big and others are not that big. The carriage number, but also what places can be found where, are mentioned right before you go downstairs and at the moment you arrive at the upper decks. No train tour is complete without doing a toilet review. And actually you find different kinds of toilets within these trains. At the lower deck, the toilets are a bit more spacious than at the upper decks. As a matter of fact, I found the toilets at the upper decks quite tiny and narrow. This is the accessible toilet, what is quite okay though, but for an accessible toilet it's not that big. This is a non-accessible toilet at the lower deck. It's a little bit smaller than the accessible toilet, but still pretty okay though. None of the toilets can be turned into a nursery space for babies. Instead of that, there's a special area that can be used as a nursery space for babies. This is at the upper deck and therefore it's not that spacious, but it's nice that it's there. Free Wi-Fi is available throughout the train, in both first and second class. It's not just an internet connection, but it also links your mobile device to an onboard entertainment system and a system that will host route information about your journey. I also featured these exactly same TGV inOui types on the route Montpellier-Lille, by the way. But for now, I think you know how these trains look like, and I will show you some views from the train. The views will be from Paris to Lille though, because I had better weather at those routes when I recorded this. And I asked you guys on YouTube, how would you like to make me a trip report about this? From Lille to Paris or from Paris to Lille? You chose from Lille to Paris, featuring the railway station of Lille Flandres instead of Paris Nord. Before I will tell you something basic about ticket fares and how I booked my tickets. If you are interested in other trip reports, in the description of this video on YouTube, at least if you watch it on YouTube, there is a link to a map, and on this map you can find all trip reports I did. The lines do indicate the routes, the train, ferry and bus icons do indicate the railway station, ferry terminal and bus stop reviews. At some spots you might find different lines, and this might be helpful for if you're looking for specific routes. This channel is about long distance and international train traveling to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation, and because crossing a border might be difficult for some people sometimes, even though it might be on a local train. Before I really end up this video, I want to share how I booked my tickets. If you're traveling with the use of a rail pass like Interrail or Eurail, you can just travel along this route until Lille Flandres. From there on, you need a reservation for the TGV inOui. I traveled with a full fare ticket from The Hague, that's where I live, to Schiedam. From Schiedam I booked an early bird ticket of the Dutch state-owned railway company. And if you book these tickets about 1 week prior departure, you have promotional fares. This is something that might change in the near future, And the reason why I did not book it from my hometown is because early bird tickets work with areas. I live just outside another area, wherefore it is a little bit cheaper for me to buy a separate ticket to Schiedam, even though I'm not going out at that railway station. From Schiedam I've booked an early bird ticket to Noorderkempen, what is the first railway station in Belgium. And within Belgium I used a multi-rail pass. This pass gives me 10 single journeys within Belgium, and I can only use it from a Belgian railway station to another Belgian railway station. So this means that I could use it to the last railway station in Belgium, and this is also a point why I did not went out of the train. This is called Mouscron. From Mouscron I've bought a separate ticket via Trainline to Lille Flandres, and from Lille Flandres a separate ticket to Paris Nord. For the TGV inOui trains, the tickets are based on the demand for passengers, so if a lot of people book one train, the price might go up. This also means that if you book this ticket last minute, the price might be relatively high. I've paid for one trip €25 and another trip, well, this was basically because I was rebooked at the TGV, like I mentioned earlier. I was planning to take a local train. That's actually a really good connection between Belgium and France as well. If you're not using a Belgian rail pass like I had, and the construction I had with breaking up my ticket in Schiedam, well, for most people this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Then my advice will be, if you're traveling from the Netherlands, buy a ticket from the station where you're departing from to Mouscron, and via Trainline you can buy a ticket from Mouscron to Paris Nord. Personally, I'm a fan of Trainline because they make it possible and easier to book tickets all over Europe. And if railway companies are not supporting cross-selling, then I think it's good that there are commercial companies who make this more possible for people and also, well, give better different fares. Even though for the tickets from the Netherlands to Belgium it's a little bit cheaper to buy this directly at the Dutch state-owned railway company, I still prefer to use Trainline. And I'm not being promoted, and at the moment of recording I don't have an affiliate link either. But this might be something interesting for the near future to support this channel a little bit. By the way, you can also support this channel on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Trainviking. So that's it for this video. Like I mentioned probably in the video, I did not record this all in one go. It's like a gathering of several trips I did. But I didn't have the time always to record the station and just want to go home. The second time I did this, the first time I did this trip, it was a coincidence trip. Probably already told you something with the use of a voiceover. Anyway, I hope you liked it. If you did so, please give me a thumbs up, or if this was a helpful video to you. And once again, like I said in the introduction, if you'd like to see more train related videos or videos about ferries, or this channel is mainly focusing on long distance and international train and ferry traveling, sometimes buses, to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation and what you can expect for yourself. Once again, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you'd like to see more and you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, and see you on my next video.